Alright, welcome back to the patch, guys. Today is June the 9th. Got a lot going on in the patch, a lot of weather issues and things like that, but we'll get into it. First things first, we do have the 2551 pollinated. So I have that one. It's DAP 1 on that one, so it was pollinated yesterday. And I pollinated that with the 2097 Kaismore. Plant's doing okay overall. I've got, looks like seven secondaries on this side and about 6 or 7 on the other side. Probably more likely 6 because I think that's the shorter side, but had to get a pollination going. We got a state fair, and one of these was state fair bound on this side since they're going to be smaller plants. So I got roughly, it'll put me about 68 days away from state fair time, so I had to get a move on it. I like to try and do my best to be competitive at it, but we'll see what we got. Plant overall, secondaries are kicking in good, but this area got hit real hard with the rain, and I'll show you a couple different angles there. You can probably see how it's a slick mess right here, but doing good. And you can kind of tell right there where the river went through under that board. Move on to the 2190 Bledsoe. Plant's doing real good, kicking off secondaries a lot better. If you remember my last update, I was worried about some of these secondaries, but they're doing fine. They're kicking in just fine. Vine is getting super thick right there. Possible keeper there on it. Not sure yet if I'll go with it. I definitely will pollinate it, but we'll see. Kind of like the idea of having it right there with the main this thick, but we'll see. Again, these plants are only going to be 20 foot long from front to back, and then about 40 feet wide. So you know, roughly 800 square foot, more wide than deep. So got to make a decision either on that one or the one after. You can see the water just, I'm sure it pulled a ton of nutrients out, so it's going to be a rough one on that side, seeing if we can stay fighting against nutrient deficiencies and whatnot. So have to keep a tight eye on it and stay ahead of any potential loss. But right now, color's good, everything's growing fine. So go on to the next one, which is the 2560 Ginger. It's doing really good. I see a really nice taproot right there on the main, right there in the center, right under that secondary. And rooting has been really good, especially with all the wet weather. So haven't had to do a whole lot as far as mounding underneath a secondary or anything like that. Roots have been firing off pretty good. So main thing is just staying ahead of pulling them backwards, but it's been just so hard to get in the patch. I'm probably gonna have to get in there and get the, you know, a little bit of weeds around the plants tomorrow, and be careful not to compact the soil too much with how wet it is. But the 2560 is doing well. It was the heaviest hit by both wind and by sun, so you'll see it on the back side. There's a couple of burnt leaves and whatnot, and then I lost, I think, one secondary on the opposite side and 3 or 4 leaves. So getting beat up just like it did last year, but pull through it. We'll get a pollination. There's one right there, but definitely not going to be a keeper. I'll probably pluck it off tomorrow. Definitely want to roll with something closer out here, get some secondaries behind that big girl. Move out to the next plant. So before I move on to the next plant, I wanted to show this. This is a design I kind of created and also stole a little bit of it. So I'll give some credit to Pete Kaspers. He has a similar design. He uses a little plastic patio table chair, and he mounts the fan upside down to the roof of it, and then he can tilt and blow directly down on the stump or across the front. And I think mostly he angles his downwards, this pivots. So if you look from the front, you can blow directly down, or if you want a little bit of an angle and shoot it down the main a little bit, you can do that. So that area would point towards the plant, and then the intake on the other side, blow air across and down. So really like it because it's clear, it's transparent. It's a little bit of a difference from his design. Is he used the table, used what he had, and it was a great design, but I like to have the sun come through and kind of help dry out that area. So thanks, Pete, for letting me steal a little bit of your design, and maybe it'll inspire others to do something similar. So really like that. So keep an eye out on that in the patch and see how it's being used, but really like that, keeping things dry, being able to angle and still have the sun shine through. So get to the next plant. So next plant is the 2097 Kaismore. It got hit pretty good with the wind and rain. I didn't lose any secondaries, but I did roll one or two really heavy right there. So I finally got them straightened up. Luckily it's the first two, so it's not that big a deal. But lost a couple of leaves. Other than that, it's rolling pretty good. I do have a female in the main at the tip, so there's a good chance I pollinate that one. We'll see if there's one close. We'll see if there's another one 2 nodes off, and then if it's close, maybe I'll pollinate both. But we're in pretty good range. We're just getting kind of close to that 25-60. So see where we come at on that. Plant's doing really good overall. No burn, like none. I might have a tip here or there or something like that, but for the most part, that one's handled the heat pretty well. And then we get into the 1481 Bayuk. I do have one that I pollinated today right there. I've already started to make the curve, so you can see how close I am. That will be the keeper as long as she takes. So if she doesn't, I've made the turn. That fruit will be over that way, and we'll just kind of make adjustments as need be. But big plant, doing well. That one's pretty much made up ground as far as where I would normally be at. So normally this time of year, that's probably about the size of the plant that I would have. I've had a touch bigger, but this is pretty average or standard for what I like to have this time of year. So she's rocking pretty good. Secondaries are doing good. We'll see how the next day or two of color goes, since we've had that much moisture. And mostly what we just need to do is stay on top of all of these as far as nutrients and making sure that we haven't lost much ground on that. But overall, happy with the plants and the patch. Just got to stay ahead of the weeds, get these little bit stragglers taken care of, and then hopefully I get some dry sunny days ahead, because once I get some dry sunny days, then that's when the fun starts. Get some fruit set and see some pounds per day go up. Get the scales out here. I don't know if I'll have a scale under one of the other girls. If I do, it'll be this one at the next update, but if not, it'll be the update after, because I usually try and put it on somewhere around 10 to 14 days. So more than likely it'll probably be 2 updates away. All right, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.